Ooh. Hi there, welcome to I Alone Fly Tarot. I'm going to do a tarot card reading for Pisces energy. We'll get some psychic tarot oracle cards to see what the overall theme is. We have financial and material changes and having spiritual strength. So there's some type of change in your life, trying to be strong about it. And the reason is because of stand your ground. Okay. So let's get some tarot to see what the story is to go with that. And since there's lots of Pisces in the world and we can all harness Pisces energy, we'll try to see the different ways that the story could be and where you could be in the story. And you just have to fit yourself in there where you fit. And we still live in a dualistic world, so there's always people that are going to use their Pisces energy and go about this storyline that comes out in a positive manner, having hope, faith, and love, and believing in the future. And there's going to be other people who kind of use these energies in a negative manner because they kind of harness their Pisces emotional side in a negative manner. They don't want to look at their feelings, they don't want to listen to their intuition, they don't want to see things from any other perspective. So they operate more maybe from fear, pride, insecurity. Okay. Major disruption in the life is what has caused this reading. It's probably what started it, and it's probably what's going to happen at the end of it. That uh, if we aren't willing to make the changes we need to keep moving forward in our life and work with our fears and our insecurities and our self-limiting beliefs that hold us back, is kind of like this is a universe card, meaning the universe will come in and kind of shake things up because it wants us to grow and learn and expand. So it looks like someone could have been happy with working together with someone, but a final decision was made and that cycle ended. Ooh, let's see. And then we have, if you were moving forward in a positive manner, in a foundation or at a job, at a relationship, you were happy, you were working together emotionally, but then something happened that one cycle closed. You could have been dealing with someone who maybe was not coming from positive energy. They could have been kind of really controlling, not fit for the job, making selfish decisions way up in their head. And so you let them cut them out of your life. And you are sad because you had worked together with them emotionally, but light had maybe been shed on the fact that that person has an unstable foundation. You couldn't continue to work on a foundation with them because it was shown to be that it was unstable and not safe. If you're going to build a foundation, you want it to be on solid ground. And you could have found out that this person didn't seem to be working together with you in the way that you thought, or that this person themselves just kind of has an unstable foundation. For other people, they could have been working together with someone, but they were maybe doing it for codependent reasons. They were kind of in shadowy Pisces energy, and they realized that needed to come to an end. And before, they might have been the one who was the Emperor reverse. They were the Emperor and Eight of Swords, that they had gotten into this relationship because of not the appropriate reasons, maybe because they had a lot of fear and insecurities and they were afraid of moving forward. So they were repeating past patterns of the past. And if those people learn their lessons, they could have realized what they were meant to learn and they let go of that aspect within themselves. And now they have regrets because, you know, they maybe had missed an opportunity. Maybe they let go of another foundation in order to work together with that person for the wrong reasons. And because of that, if they had been in a relationship before where maybe was equal give and take. They had been a person who wasn't sure if they really wanted to put in work and effort. And so, because of that, maybe they had a lot of stress and anxiety, and they could have decided they wanted to win at all costs, to be a King of Pentacles person, somebody who's maybe wealthy and stable, and that was kind of what was most important to them. And they could have thought it was fair and just to be very materialistic and have it be all about stability. So they could have gotten into a relationship with the Queen of Pentacles, someone who is very stable and abundant. And initially they might have been happy, but maybe, they were kind of maybe in that relationship because they were stubborn in their Pisces energy, not willing to see things from a new perspective. They weren't willing to take creative, bold, confident action in their life. And so they had been really defensive of moving forward in a creative, inspired way. But if any of them learned their lessons, they would now decide that they are going to offer their resources to be in the energy of love. And so they're now going to listen to their heart and intuition about and deal with their regrets of the past. Nobody would repeat a past cycle and be afraid of moving forward in the energy of love unless they had issues from the past that they hadn't dealt with. So now, if these people have learned their lessons, they're willing to offer love to the regrets of the past and see the truth. And the truth is that life isn't supposed to be about money and materialism and image and status and wealth. It's supposed to be about love. That's how we all grow and learn and mature. And so now they might want to communicate to someone who harnesses positive Leo energy, or they're going to take quick action to step into the spotlight of their life, to be brave and bold and work on a new foundation, either with this person or within themselves, in order to see their dreams come into reality. Let's hope so. We all need more healed people in the world. So let's go see what the Nine of Cups is about. Okay, the Nine of Cups. Somebody is sending a message of good news, or communicating anyway. Then we have the Three of Cups. I might have to get some clarifiers out on all of this to figure it all out here. Three of Cups. What's the Three of Cups about? Libra, Aquarius, and the Six of Cups. So someone sent a message to work together with someone. Some people thought it was fair and just, seeing things from the bigger picture, wanting to move forward in their life, to take the happy memories of the past with them and move forward, to be emotionally clear in their thinking, logic, and reasoning. Okay. What is the Judgment card? A judgment was made that, people need to become enlightened. The universe puts us in our Pisces hangman when it'll make us feel stuck because we need to see things from a new perspective. And so a judgment was made that people needed to see things from a new perspective and be willing to listen to their heart and their intuition. And tell us about the World card. Move forward. Perfect. Yep. In the World card, it's about having learned your lessons that you were meant to learn from the past, or the past sequence of life events that you've been through. Kind of like the idea that the purpose of life is to go through these life experiences and keep learning these lessons. And if we're willing to learn the lessons we were meant to learn from that experience. And I think those things that you're meant to learn is like, you know, what do you think of yourself? Do you value yourself? Do you think you're worthy of love? Are you willing to give love? Are you willing to be reciprocal in your relationships? Or are you going to be selfish? Are you going to be greedy? Are you going to make decisions out of fear? You know, it's figuring out with our dualistic nature, what are we going to do? Are we going to operate from fear, pride, insecurity, greed, selfishness, self indulgence? Or are we going to be loving and compassionate and just and fair? So, um, in this sequence of events, I think people learn their lessons. And in the Six of Swords, people are leaving behind the Five of Swords, which can be either just mental conflict, like, oh, I'm not sure, I'm still kind of debating, I don't know what to think. Or it can be someone who is harnessing a much more aggressive energy of wanting to win at all costs and not caring who they hurt. But regardless, people learn their lessons and they are willing to move forward. The Six of Swords is about moving across the water realm, which represents our emotions, our intuition, our consciousness, and having a new insight and clarity and willing to move forward with that new understanding and perception, just having an expanded perception of how you view yourself and how you view the world and what you view as possible. So those people move forward. And for the people in positive energy, you could have either seen that people in the past who did have mental conflict or who did want to win at all costs, that they kind of create confusion and illusion because they're trying to prevent you from moving forward. They're not ready to move forward, so they don't want you to move forward either. It's like they want everything to stay the way it is. But you see through the illusion and you see all the emotional opportunities from being willing to keep moving forward, to keep learning and growing and, you know, want to keep expanding. Okay, so tell us about the Emperor in reverse. So again, I guess you maybe were dealing with some people, since we have the Emperor in reverse and the Eight of Swords in reverse, either an aspect within yourself that you're moving away from or someone outside of you who maybe used to have this win at all costs attitude. An Emperor in reverse would be somebody who's really doesn't make good decisions. They maybe make selfish decisions, even though they're kind of in charge or in charge of, you know, a department or a business or a family, and they don't make good decisions. Um, they could be immature, they could be selfish. Maybe they used to really be up in their head. So, if that was someone outside of you or that was you in the past, you have decided that you want to have happiness in your life. So, you take creative, inspired action to communicate that you want to work together emotionally in positive Libra justice energy, where things are fair and just and balanced, in positive Aquarius energy, where people see things from the bigger picture, where people are willing to step back and try to get some perspective so they don't make kind of impulsive actions, and they have hope and faith and belief that there can be healing in a situation. They're willing to think outside the box. Aquarius energy is that kind of eccentric, unique way that we use our mind. These are both air sign energies of the mind. And wanting to work together with people in that, you know, this Three of Cups working with another person in Three of Cups, where we're willing to work together from that emotional foundation, where we speak our emotional truth and we face the future, and made a decision to, if you or someone you were dealing with was stuck and they were stuck in their pride and ego and they were unwilling to see things from any other perspective, you know, they could have been somebody that you were working with emotionally, that you thought you had this, you know, loving type relationship with, but maybe it was more that they present themselves like this and they hide the fact that they kind of are stuck in pride and ego. And again, if that was you within yourself or someone else you were dealing with, you made a judgment on that, and you're going to listen to your heart and intuition, and you are going to move forward. And you're letting go of an Emperor reverse and an Eight of Swords in reverse. So tell us about the Emperor in reverse. Oh, and another one. Okay. So maybe letting go of someone in your life who wasn't making good decisions. You could have decided, well, this person, if they're an emperor in reverse, they're not making decisions that are best for everyone. They're kind of coming from their shadow side. So there's someone who doesn't want to put in work and effort. They could be controlling, they could be possessive, obsessive, they could be selfish, greedy, they could be all about materialism. The shadowy aspect of the devil Capricorn can mean a lot of those kind of things. They could have been immature. If they're not someone who comes from the energy of love, they're not going to mature. It's how we need to learn to love ourselves and treat ourselves in a gentle, kind, compassionate, forgiving manner so that we don't beat ourselves up over the head all the time, so that we can mature and grow. And if this person hasn't been somebody who comes from an energy of self love within themselves, they maybe are immature and were defensive of moving forward. Um, they might have also been someone who's more about, oh, just looking the part, like, oh, I look like everything's going successful. But they don't really want to do the work it takes to get in the driver's seat of their own life, because that does take Cancer energy, emotional water sign energy of unconditional love for home and family and stuff. And if this person's kind of selfish and greedy, they just like to look the part, like, oh, yes, we're moving forward so successfully and so wonderfully. Which, if they are all about maybe materialism and stuff, they maybe have a lot of wealth, so they feel like that makes them look successful. And they might think there is nothing more to life than that. I've got money, I'm stable, I'm secure, I got it made. Success. And they're not really somebody who thinks about, gee, I want to experience all the deep emotional aspects of, life, and to be creative and be inspired, um, and be fair and just and kind to other people. It might be that they're very self centered, possibly. And so you let them out of your life. Tell us about the Eight of Swords. Oh, and they could have been defensive and guarded, kind of maybe play the wounded warrior too, like, oh gosh, this relationship was so successful and blah blah. It's like, yeah, but it maybe all oriented around you, and you're maybe a little selfish and controlling and defensive and guarded. And so you let go of them. Tell us about the Eight of Swords in reverse. And another thing too about this person is if they were more about image, they're unwilling to put in, the Seven of Pentacles is somebody unwilling to put in work and effort. In order to move forward, this person would have had to harness positive Capricorn energy, where they are willing to put in the hard work and effort. And the Pentacle would be about nurturing the people that they're with and be willing to stand in their like inner youthful nature of having hope, faith, and belief. And this person maybe chose, no, I don't really want to do that. I would rather just look successful. So I'll go get a different relationship to do that. So in the Eight of Swords, reverse, if being with this person had caused you to kind of be in a mental prison, or again, if that was an aspect of yourself you're letting go of, you are closing out a cycle on people who are like in a mental prison, trapped in like, I don't know, whatever, fear, insecurity, afraid of what everybody else would say, unwilling to become independent and live their own life. That you've ended that. You are self sovereign in your own sense of stability. You are willing to separate yourself from we can all live in the world, but not have to conform to the world. You're your own independent person, and you want to have equal give and take with people. Let's see. And so when you became independent of maybe this person, you dropped a Three of Pentacle foundation. We go from 9 pentacles to 6. So Three of Pentacles is working together in a foundation. You could have let go of this emperor person and being in a mental prison to be willing to move forward in an independent manner where you can have equal give and take with people in joy and celebration from an emotional foundation. Maybe this other person you were dealing with wasn't really willing to come from an emotional foundation. Maybe it was more of a all about status, image, wealth, reputation type of thing. Tell us about the Four of Cups. So you may feel that, um, you know, feel like you kind of missed an emotional opportunity with someone, but you are willing to, those of you in positive energy are willing to bring down that old foundation because that old foundation was never going to bring you. You thought it was emotional wish fulfillment, and you were working at 9 cups of happiness with this person, but something happened here. I guess I don't know. We'll go see what the other side of the story is, and then maybe we'll know what they did. But you're going to bring down that foundation and move forward. It's like the universe is saying, we only have the present moment to live in. So if somebody made the free will choice not to work with you cooperatively and be in the energy of love with you, then we're offering you love. It's like the universe is saying every day is a new opportunity. Keep moving forward. Keep having that hope, faith, and belief that justice will be served, that you deserve to be in loving, kind relationships. So let that foundation go. And you might be someone who is, willing to vocally defend your future. And in your future, you want to have 10 of Cups happiness. Happy home and family, long term relationships with friends and family, and you are guarding that, and you will speak your truth. If anybody from your past wants to come towards you, it's like, I'm protecting 10 of Cups because you have bossed up and you are the emperor. You want somebody who truly makes decisions in their life, not just based on their heart or their feelings at the moment, or just what makes logical, practical sense, or just what makes sense financially, or just what has them riled up at the moment in their fire sign energy. You want someone who has mastered all aspects of themselves, and when they make a major decision in their life, they make a major decision based taking into account all aspects, and they also are like a benevolent ruler, that they are willing to make decisions that are best for everyone involved, not just themselves. Okay, now what could have been happening with some people who are in shadowy Pisces energy? Oh, so yeah, here with the Knight of Swords, it's kind of like you're standing your ground. There had been a major disruption in the foundation, and you have been being strong about these changes that have impacted your life. So, what happened to the other person? People who are kind of out of balance, they don't know how to offer themselves the love and compassion and forgiveness, like to nurture themselves. And so they're kind of tipped out of balance, their negative voices or their selfishness and greed has overwhelmed their positive voices, or their sense of justice and love and stuff that they've become kind of self-centered in a way or looking out for themselves. But if it is just that they haven't learned how to even love themselves, so they lack self-love, that's what makes them selfish and greedy. They don't nurture themselves and fill their own emotional cup in order to be able to give to other people. So they're very kind of unwilling to give to other people because they kind of have so little to give emotionally. But if they're kind of tipped in shadow, they're looking for people who will enable them and, nurture them, give them the love and affection that they need. They're kind of disempowered because they haven't learned how to give that to themselves. They're codependent on other people to provide that to them. So those people could have communicated to someone that they felt would be that they could be happy with, that they could be kind of codependent on. And they could have gotten in people who are codependent also or come from kind of shadowy energy. They're not kind of loving and kind within themselves to themselves, with self love, that they can't align with self love with someone else. So they end up being in kind of triangulated relationships. And they thought it was just and fair, that they are maybe the center of the show, that it's kind of all about them. And they are repeating past patterns of the past, kind of like when they were a kid, looking to people to nurture them and love them because they haven't learned to do that for themselves. And they possibly could have reunited with someone from their past. And they could be a little emotionally cold. And they decided that they were going to prove a point, maybe by getting into this relationship. Maybe when the relationship with you ended and that tower moment happened, see, when you became emotionally self-sovereign within yourself, where you did know how to nurture and love yourself and you're kind of independent functioning within the relationship you were within them, they probably didn't like that, because the more you became self-sovereign within yourself, everything has to be balanced. So if they're out of balance, they need to be in a relationship with someone who's out of balance also, or they need somebody to someone who has a lot of love to kind of sacrifice what they should get in a relationship in order to keep feeding this person in a way. And as you became emotionally self-sovereign and or loving yourself and everything, the other person probably wouldn't like that, because you maybe were wanting more of a balanced relationship and wanting them to take creative inspired action to move forward, having an emotional foundation within themselves, being just and fair, seeing things from the bigger picture, reconciling with their issues of the past to speak their emotional truth. And they didn't want to do that. So they could have kind of taken some maybe immature action to communicate to a third party that they thought it would be just and fair and a dream come true to reunite with that person. And they decided to be emotionally cold to you. See, at this point, maybe you hadn't even broken up yet, but because you were becoming independent within the relationship, and they knew that you were being just and fair, you were seeing things from the bigger picture, you had reconciled with your past issues of the past to move forward, and they know that they're not willing to do that. So they could have spoken to a third party about wanting to reunite with them. They kind of became emotionally cold to you, and you realize that this person seems to be stuck in their pride and ego. They seem to be unwilling to see things from any other perspective. And you want people who listen to their heart and intuition and who are loving, and this person seemed to want to make it all about them, and we're unwilling to move forward. And so it ended. And they, the cycle ended here with your relationship. They had maybe already been communicating to a third party, and so they moved forward to the person that they viewed as an emotional option. The only thing is, if you get into a relationship and you're not coming from being in a balanced state within yourself and have good intentions, you might be getting into a relationship with someone and creating illusion, because you might really be getting into that relationship more to, because the hangman can also be about wanting to prove a point. So they could have gotten into this other relationship, creating an illusion, because they're really trying to prove a point to the person who they were in a relationship with before, who became kind of, I don't know, no long, you know, they weren't willing to move forward with them, but they're mad at the other person for kind of like wanting them to move forward. I mean, they probably feel like, as the Queen of Swords, that they were the one betrayed, but really, you were offering love. You wanted to work together with them emotionally. You wanted things to be fair and just, and people to have hope, faith, and belief and move forward. But this person doesn't want to put in that work and effort to do that. So they feel like you betrayed them because you're willing to kind of expand yourself and grow and learn, and they aren't. So they could have gotten in another relationship. Let me look this up. Emperor reversed. Dominance, abuse, dictator, arrogance, failure, closed minded. So they could have gotten into this relationship kind of, again, they showed that they had been let go. If they had been like the head of a family or something, they were let go. And they also might be making decision as the emperor reversed, and it's male or female, just someone who takes, it's the emperor is that aspect of ourself that makes major decisions in our life, and we would hope that that aspect of ourself is mature. But if this person isn't very mature, um, or kind of shadowy, they're making decisions in their life an emotionally negative from an emotionally negative source within themselves. And it could be that mm, again, they're kind of repeating past patterns of the past. They were defensive of moving forward. They could be in toxic energy, and they could also be all about money, status, image, reputation. So they could have decided to invest in a chariot, someone who they feel will help them, if it's a job or a relationship, a social group, whatever, that they feel that will make them move forward looking like they're successful. So these two type of people could have gotten in a relationship. It's really maybe kind of toxic or just based on status, image, or whatever. And this person is still maybe defensive of moving forward. And they're still maybe looking at the past saying, I don't know, maybe they claim to be the wounded party from the past relationship. And in their mind, they are the wounded party. And they are wounded, that's for sure. Um, but maybe then something happened. Maybe, well, it'd be really great if they healed, if they decided, you know what? Being in this relationship that I got into, again, maybe they were in illusion themselves, and it was like, oh my gosh, I thought this would be perfect, but it's kind of toxic. That they could have decided, I'm going to quit being in my fears and insecurities. I'm going to close out this relationship I got into, and I am going to, I don't know, I guess, maybe be single. We don't know if they're out of shadowy energy or yet or not. Yeah, I don't know yet. They put an end to being in a mental prison by becoming single. Maybe it caused them to be up in their head to be in this relationship, so they got out of it. Maybe now they just want to exchange resources with someone else who wants to be in a relationship. They feel they missed an emotional opportunity. I mean, if they learn their lessons and have become independent of whatever foundation, it could even been a foundational way of thinking that made them be in their pride and ego before. If they've separated themselves from that old foundational way of being, yeah, they could have exchanged here in the Six of Pentacles. They could have exchanged the foundation from which they were operating from within them, and maybe now they're going to be operating more from an emotional foundation. And it is possible if some of them feel like they missed an opportunity. I don't know. For the people who are still in shadow and still just want to exchange resources in a triangulated relationship, um, there are people who are still focused on the past, regrets of the past, and they're still not willing to move forward. And they still could be argumentative to the past, saying, I'm going to be happy. I don't know. I'm going to get in a third party. I don't know. But if the people did heal, they would be, might want to go communicate to someone that they feel they missed an opportunity with, that they want to have a happy family, that now they are an emperor, that now they have grown and matured and they learned their lesson from that past experience. Oh, 35 minutes. Okay, well, I guess we'll have to end it there. But if this person comes back around, make sure you defend the things that you are wanting in your life. And this person would have to be willing to say they have let go of those old foundations that they were once attached to. They are now willing to live an independent life and no longer conform to some foundation, either of the world or of the past, or being all about money and materialism. And they would have to be willing to have some equal give and take and be someone who's emotionally willing to consider what they invest in. You might find out they still have a lot of stress. I don't know. They'd have to decide, I am willing to be a King of Pentacles, someone who knows my worth and value and is willing to nurture the things I invest in and take action with, to be just and fair in a foundation with my partner, you know, so that there can be emotional happiness where people are not being stubborn and prideful and arrogant and entitled, where they're actually willing to see things from other people's perspectives so that they can take bold, confident action in the world, and are willing, instead of being defensive, they're willing to defend this victory in their life, and they are willing to be a student of life, willing to learn, grow, and expand, and to add to their foundation and use their resources to you offer their resources to the energy of love versus like the energy of more Ten of Pentacles. And they're willing to listen to their heart and intuition. So there you go, Pisces. I wish you peace, love, and joy, and we'll see you next time. Bye bye.